Good afternoon, everyone. Today we have the pleasure of having Dr. VP Sharma with us.
हो
Sir is Director, ICR, Directorate of Mushroom Research,
हो गया बस चल पड़ा
M. Bhagat Solan, and the topic chosen for deliberation by Dr. VP Sharma is strainal improvement and cultivation technology of shiitake mushrooms. Sir, you are audible as well as visible. Also, your presentation is also visible. Please start, sir.
Okay, thank you very much. And welcome all the participants. As was told on the first very day, and that 213 participants, they are participating in this 21 days training program. And one foreigner is also there from Zambia probably. And today I will talk, of course, my most of the work is on the diseases of mushrooms and then the specialty mushrooms. But today's lecture has been assigned for me as the strainal improvement and cultivation technology of shiitake mushroom. So friends, few slides I will just, in the first few slides, I will introduce the topic, and thereafter I will talk on the cultivation technology of shiitake and strainal improvement. So straight away coming to the topic, what are mushrooms? Mushrooms, actually, it belongs to a separate kingdom, that is fungi. It is neither animal nor plants, and they are more close to animals compared to plants. And in this, all the mushrooms, they are fungi, but all the fungi, they are not the mushrooms, because in mushrooms, in fungi, we have two categories. One is microfungi, another is macrofungi. And mushroom is a vegetable, and all the vegetarians, they daily eat a lot of fungi. For example, cheese, bread, and so on. Daily we are eating these. Then uh, it is estimated that about 1.5 million fungi they exist on this planet. It is, of course, an old estimate, but according to the new estimate, about 5.1 million fungi they exist. But if the estimate is about just 1.5 million, that so far about 1,10,000 fungi is reported, and just 14,000 out of that are reported with mushrooms. And most of the mushrooms in this, about 3,000, they are prime edible. 200 has been cultivated experimentally, and six are being produced in the industrial scale. Most of the mushrooms, they belong to the two categories in the fungi, and mostly they are from the basidiomycetes and all this. The most popular mushroom, that is your agaricus, maybe this auricularia. They belong to this category, the basidiomycetes, and few they belong to ascomycetes, and this it can include the highly prized mushroom, that is Morchella, Helvilla, Gyromithra. Like these mushrooms, they belong to the category of ascomycetes. So these are the two classes to which the mushrooms they belong. Now, according to the habitat, mushrooms, they can be decomposers, they can be endophytes, and they can be mycorrhizic. And most of the edible, medicinal, toxic, and poisonous mushroom, they belong to the category of these decomposers. And the mycorrhizic mushrooms, of course, they are also of great importance, particularly if you're talking about the tuber. So many tuber species are there, maybe tuber nanosporum, tuber mesentricum, tuber indicum. Like these mushroom, and one or two reports are there about their existence from India, and all the tubers, but it is very popular in European countries, particularly in France, Italy, and in these countries, this is cultivated basically uh, in the open. In Morchella also, a number of species are there, but some species are mycorrhizal, others they are saprophytic type, and recently we succeeded to cultivate Morchella in India, and by doing so, we entered into the category of just, I think, 3 or 4 nations of the world, China, USA, and France, and therefore India, who successfully cultivated this Morchella. And on 23rd September of this last month, 23rd February of the last month only, we cultivated this Morchella successfully at TMR Solan. And presently, you know that we are getting crop every day and these greenhouse conditions. And there are some other, that mycorrhizal like Boletus, Cantharilis type. There are the other Rhizopogum. There are other mycorrhizal mushrooms. Now, going to the history, particularly I want to talk about the Lanternula. So I am just, presenting the history of other mushroom as well. Auricularia was the first mushroom which was cultivated in China about 600 AD. And second was Flammulina, winter mushroom. This was cultivated about 800, 900 AD, again in China. And Shaki was also cultivated in, the China about 1,000 years back. Thereafter, but it was not very popular. But Japanese, they were first to adopt its cultivation. It was, of course, introduced by Chinese in Japan, and its cultivation really became very popular there. Then button mushroom, the most popular mushroom in the world for most of the time, and in India still it is the most popular mushroom, and it was cultivated in France in 650. And padisla mushroom, the mushroom which was cultivated in China in 1700 AD, and of course the first mushroom which was cultivated in India in 1943 in Coimbatore. Then another mushroom, lotus mushroom, is another very important mushroom, very important mushroom, and number of species are there, but at least about 8 to 10 mushroom species in lotus, they are commercial value. And we recently here at Directorate of Mushroom Research, Solan, we actually discovered, and we recommended 6 mushroom species which can be cultivated right from 12 degrees centigrade to 32 degrees centigrade, and for the round the year cultivation for the seasonal mushroom farms. So this was the recommendation of the last year from DMR Solar. And the cultivation of mushrooms started. Now, why mushrooms? Mushrooms are important from nutrition point of view, then from medicine point of view, because mushrooms are having protein that is about 35 to 40%. And the beauty of mushroom protein is that they are having all the essential amino acids, and the biological value that is more than 90%. If you compare with the protein of other, that for example pulses, there the digestibilities or the biological value is very less. And likewise mushroom, they are having vitamin B complex salt and vitamin C is there, vitamin D is there. And in fact a mushroom is the only source that has got this vitamin D and vitamin B12. And they have got prebiotic activities. A mushroom, they have anti-tumor activity, they have anti-inflammatory activity, and anti-histamine activity. They are having anti-allergic, they are sedative, they are having anti-hypertensive, they have got antioxidant properties, and hepatoprotective, and they have got cholesterol reducing ability. But we are talking about that Stake today, and it is important as far as this anti-tumor activity is concerned. And the top 2 killers, that according to this American Heart Association news, the total number of Americans dying from heart diseases rose in recent years, falling decades in decline. Cancer deaths have nearly tripled since 1950 and continue to climb. So heart disease and cancer, these are the 2 diseases which are the top killers in USA. And mushroom-derived anti-cancer agents are also there, which has been licensed in Japan. For example, this Crestin, that is derived from this Stamatis mushroom, and it is a oral tablet. Am I not audible to all, or just is the problem of with 1 or 2?
So I can hear you clearly.
So you are audible.
The problem is at your end, sir. So please check it. Then lanthanum is the another, mushroom-derived anti-cancer agent. Of course, derived from Lanthanum alidus, that Stake mushroom we are talking today. It was, recommended. It was introduced in December 1985, and it was recommended for the stomach cancer. Likewise, Cyzofran from Cyzophalan comini. It is again an injection, and it is recommended for the cervical cancer. So drugs versus dietary supplements are also there. Drugs are tested by the FDA, Food Drug Administration. They are defined as substances intended to diagnose, treat, or prevent diseases. Medications must pass clinical trials before being released to the public, and the tests need to prove each drug is safe, performing just as the manufacturers claim. So this is what it is going on. And then supplements aren't regulated by the FDA, but under the Dietary Supplement Health and Education Act, that is DSHEA, the FDA treats supplements like food, and the DSHEA defines supplements as products taken orally for supplementing the diet. So mushroom are basically the supplements, that who have got this medicinal effect also. Supplements can include minerals, vitamins, or other natural biological substances, and available in a variety of shapes and sizes, including concentrates, extracts, capsules, tablets, liquids, and powders. Keep in mind, herbs and vitamins don't have to be tested for safety. Self-regulated by the manufacturers, no proof is required to demonstrate their effectiveness. In China, that the Chinese, they are taking these mushroom, some of the mushroom, and the mushroom in Chinese traditional herbal drugs are button mushroom, the most important mushroom, It stimulates the digestion, curing hypertension. Auricularia, the most sought after mushroom in China. Two species are there. This polytricha and auricula are more very important. Of course, other species are also there, but this auricularia polytricha is very popular there. Uh, it is that strengthening health, helping blood circulation. Boletus sedulus, causing muscles and joint relax. Coriolus is curing chronic diseases. Ganoderma is there, that is rejuvenating health. And then Gryphola, another very important mushroom, strengthening health and resisting diseases. Hericium, that is monkey head mushroom or lion mushroom, it is beneficial to heart, kidney, liver, lungs, and spleen. Stachya mushroom is important, and it is important for strengthening health and resisting diseases. Tremula, that the jelly fungus, it is that strengthening health and resisting diseases. And tricoloma is also having some beneficial to stomach and intestine. So these are the 6 most important. Of course, I have included Stachya also. Of course, it is culinary medicinal mushroom, but others, Rhizophyllum, phylum and Gryphola, Ganoderma, Trematus, Cordyceps sinensis, militaris. These are exclusively the medicinal mushrooms, which are very, very popular, and they are used for the mushroom. These are used for the cancer therapy. Now, the bird production, little bit about the production also. It started after World War II, and initially the growth was not much, and just linear growth was there. Thereafter, from 1985 to almost 2000, there was some jump in the growth. But thereafter, from 2000 onwards, and the last 20 years, the growth is exponential. And presently, the bird is producing more than 40 million tons. And you can see that during the last 55 years, the bird has made about 200 times increase in the total mushroom production. Then China's, because almost 87% contribution coming from China, and they have gone for the diversification. They are cultivating about commercially, they are cultivating about 16 mushroom species, whereas in India they are still focusing on the six mushroom species. Then this is that different contributions, about 35 million tons of mushrooms are being produced in China. And butter mushroom is there, but it is not very, very important as we are observing it in India. Here actually the butter mushroom is about 73%, but in China it is 7%. Stachya mushroom is very important. They are very important. Oyster mushroom is also important here. And Flammulina and overall about 60 mushroom species are being cultivated in China. Whereas in India, 73 button mushroom, 1% Stachya, 16 Serpilotus, and then 2 other Pedistra mushroom and this Calosyvia mushroom and Stachya mushroom. These are the other mushrooms which are being cultivated. Stachya's contribution in 1960 in the world mushroom industry was about 15%, and butter mushroom was contributing 78%. Then the Stachya contribution rose to about 10% by 1990. Of course, it was a little bit, more in 1960. But because other mushroom, they were also introduced in the world mushroom industry, and the share of the Stachya decreased for some time, and it started contributing 10%. But the share of button mushroom that decreased very drastically, about 38%. Whereas the floater share, it emerged at number 2 mushroom with a contribution of 24% and auricularia 11%. Flammulina and Bolivarella were the other 2 mushroom which are contributing. And total these 6 mushroom species, they were contributing about 92% of the total mushroom production in the world in 1990. By 2013, Stachya made again that great jump, and it started contributing about 22%, and it is number 1 mushroom presently in the bird mushroom production. And in the last couple of years, particularly tremendous progress in the Stachya mushroom production has been also made in our country. Other mushrooms, Pilotus, auricularia again, button mushroom number 4, Flammulina number 5, and Bolivarella number 6 mushroom. These 6 mushroom species, they are again contributing about 90% of the total mushroom production in 2013, and the data was published in 2017. And this is the only latest data. Of course, we are trying to compile. One of our colleague is compiling the latest data, and I'm very sure that when we are going to organize this symposium in the month of National Mushroom Symposium in the month of April, I think from 15th, 16th, and 17th, we are going to present all these papers there. Stachya mushroom is also known as Japanese mushroom. Why? Because Stachya mushroom was most popular in Japan, and you can see that somewhere in 1980s, almost in 1970, it was the only mushroom there. Then some other mushroom, they came into picture, Flammulina, for example, and then Hypsizygus. But somewhere in 1985, this was the only, that highest production of this mushroom was there in Japan. And other mushroom, Button mushroom is not there in Japan, but Gryphola lotus species, they are cultivated in Japan. And now coming to exclusive Shiitake. So this is Lanthanus adodus, or Lanthanula adodus, now the present name, and it is a shiitake in Japanese. It is characterized by unique flavor that is governed by this guanosine 5-monophosphate, and aroma that is governed by this lanthonine. And Staka is this Lanthanula, the latest name. Of course, it was known by other names earlier, like this Cortinellus Stake, Cortinellus idos, then this Cortinellus varkelinus, then Armillaria idos, and Lanthanus, of course, the previous name was Lanthanus adodus, but now its name is Lanthanula adodus. The share of Stake production in different countries, you can see here. US, Spain is also good producer, China 21, Korea, then Taiwan, Japan, and rest of the world 24%. This is the contribution made in Stake production by different countries. Stake mushroom has got this medicinal properties like anti-tumor polysaccharides are there, and it has got then glycoprotein is there. It has got this antiviral nucleic acids, then platelet augmentation inhibitive substances are there, then anti-cholesterol active substances, for example, erythritidine is there, and that has got this anti-cholesterol activity. Lanthanine, it is an approved drug in Japan. Stake contains 8 essential amino acids also, and it is better in proportion than soybeans, meat, milk, or egg, as well as a good blend of vitamins and minerals, including vitamin A, B, B12. DA is also there, C, D, and niacin. Now coming to the milestone in the Stake cultivation, the spontaneous log cultivation in nature was reported about 1100 AD in China by this Bu San Kang, and then pure culture spawn in log cultivation was used in Japan in 1936, and again pure culture technique was established in Japan, of course 1904, but the pure culture spawn in log cultivation came only in 1936. Then sawdust cultivation, cylindrical synthetic logs and plastic logs began only in sawdust cultivation 1974 in China, and then in US it began in 1989, and Europe just not very old. In the center, it is of center origin only, and then sawdust cultivation cylindrical log. It of course Chinese were the in China it started in 1983. Then carbon and nitrogen ratio is very important for this cultivation of Stake. Best for mycelial is 25:1. Carbon and nitrogen ratio is the best for the mycelial growth, and for fruiting it has to be about 40:1. And the nitrogen concentration, it is very less for the mycelial production, and bit more for the fruiting. And this is the temperature requirement for the spore germination. It is from 15 to 28 degrees centigrade, and optimum temperature of course 22 to 26 degrees. And for the mycelial growth, it is 5 to 32, and optimum of course 24 to 27. And the fruiting temperature range is 5 to 25. Different strains are there. Some fruit at low temperatures, other they fruit at the high temperature. But the optimum, that for most of the strain it is 15 1 is to about you can say about 13 to 17 degrees centigrade. And again it is strain dependent. But now we have the strains which give fruiting at 20 to 22 degrees centigrade. So these are the 3 techniques by which we can cultivate Stake. One is the hatch notching, which of course is the most primitive method, and earlier the cultivation was done only by this method. And the second is natural log cultivation. It was also very popular in China also and Japan also. Then synthetic log cultivation is of course of the recent origin. As far as this hatch notching is concerned, here actually that these best shaped notches were made on the trunks of the trees, and the crop depends actually on the inoculum present in the air in that particular area. So quality of the spore, concentration of the spores, all these factors were there. So we were not very sure that how much crop and what type of quality we'll get the next year. But that method was also very popular initially. Then thereafter the natural log cultivation was there, and then synthetic log cultivation is there. For spawn, of course, that is the prerequisite how the spawn is prepared. First we have to prepare the spawn, and for spawn preparation, sawdust about 78% from the broadleaf leaves, and then wheat bran it is mixed with about 20% sucrose is also added, calcium carbonate, and water content has to be adjusted nearby 65%. And the wood plug spawn is also very common as far as wood log cultivation is concerned. This is the process how the spawn is produced. Of course, we are taking fruit body, the culture from the fruit bodies, making the pure culture, then preparing the master culture, and then multiplying the commercially. Uh, this is the wood peg. This is the wood plug spans where small pieces of woods are cut and the span is prepared on these, and these are inserted in the holes of the wood logs. And this is how that H notching is done. And as I told that it depends actually on the natural spore load, so the yields were not very this. Then this is natural log cultivation where we have to cut the trees. Of course, all these broadleaf trees. I will give the details of the trees which are used for this natural log cultivation in the subsequent slides. And then after that cutting, holes are made on the wood logs, and then they are inoculated with the wood bags or by the sawdust span, and they are stored for some time. And first of all, that we have to prepare the longness for that. Felling time is very, very important. Generally, the logs, they are, that the trees are felled in the autumn season when maximum carbohydrate is there in the plant and the bark is intact. Sawdust should be collected from broadleaf trees. That is number one. The ratio of the sawwood to the hardwood within a log strongly impact the stockade production, and the trees selected for log preparation should be felled between late autumn and early spring. These are some of the conditions at which we have to spread this. We have to cut these. We have to prepare the log. Then we have to go for the drilling. We have to go for the spawning, and then we have to go for the stacking, and then raising of these, and ultimately the fruit bodies they come. This is how the spawning is done. That generally the wood plugs, they are inserted in the holes, and their stacking is done. When the spawning is complete, it will take about 8 months to 1 year. And when the spawning is complete, then again we are stacking these wood logs for taking the crop. And this is another that how we can insert these wood pegs by the help of hammer. Then their stacking is done. This has to be covered because we have to protect these wood logs from the scorching heat of the direct sun, so they can be covered by these gunny bags, or they can be put in under the shade tree. This is how that stacking is done, or raising for this, and thereafter when the spring season will come, or when that optimum temperature environment condition will come, they will start fruiting. And thereafter we can regulate the production by giving cold water treatment. After every 2-3 months, these logs, they will give the fruit bodies. This is how we will get the fruit bodies on the wood logs. And here you can see again, and this method is important. It is also popular in Manipur and Nagaland also, and some people in Uttarakhand also. They are also doing that Shitake mushroom cultivation on the wood logs. But because we are having so many limitations, because geographical some constraints will be there. Wood logs are not available everywhere, and transportation is somewhat difficult, and then open areas are required for its cultivation. So now the recent method is this bag cultivation, where sawdust is used, sawdust from the broadleaf leaves. This is that different steps are there, and when we are going the cultivation on the synthetic logs, substrate preparation is the first step, then substrate spawning, incubation, shock treatment, fruiting, and post-harvest management. Substrate formula, generally wheat bran is added, calcium carbonate is also added there, moisture content is 60 to 65%, pH of the substrate has to be adjusted 7 to 7.5, and substrate filling this sawdust from the broadleaf trees, only that is about 80%. You can calculate that about 80% is the sawdust, and then cereal bran, particularly wheat bran or rice bran, that is added at the rate of 19%. Calcium carbonate is there, and then about 1.5 kg is filled per polypropylene bag. And these are the popular trees, very, very important, that can be used for this. And the willow tree is another tree which can be used of the sawdust or the wood logs of these trees. They can be used for this Shitake mushroom production. Tuna tree, here actually we tested number of trees, but our best results were on this tree one, this tuna tree, that is the Tuna sinensis. Our best results came only on this tree, the sawdust used from this tree. And then silver oak is another that is also very popular for the Shitake mushroom cultivation. Then birch tree, they are also important for this. Mango tree, we can also use the sawdust from the mango trees also. But the results of what we obtained, what we get on this tuna tree, they are really excellent. And these are the different steps. That sawdust is to be soaked in water for 18 to 20 hours. Thereafter, it is that supplement of particularly this wheat bran, calcium carbonate added. and then it is filled. After once the this supplement is mixed, it has to be filled immediately in the polypropylene bags, and it has to be autoclaved. Otherwise, fermentation will start and it will spoil the show. So filling is done, and their autoclaving is done, and then inoculation is done. And once the inoculation is done, thereafter these are arranged in incubation rooms, and thereafter that fruit body they start coming after some time. This is mixing and filling, and this is filling in the bags, inserting the this ring, and then plugging with the non-absorbent cotton, and then adjusting this moisture content. This is the right state. That moisture should not come out. It should not leak down. That is the right that moisture content in the bags. Then autoclaving is done. The autoclave generally we do at a 22 pound pressure per square inch for 1.5 to 2 hours. That's the best time. And in the quantity also, 1.5 kg is the best quantity. We also tried 2 kg. We also tried 3 kg, 4, 5 kg. But the best results we obtained only on 1.5 kg substrate. And then once the installation is complete, when the bags are cooled down, they are inoculated in the laminar clay. About 3% spawn is added. If sawdust spawn is available, that is okay. That gives the best result. But if it's not possible, then we can also use the grain-based spawn. Generally, we are using this wheat grain spawn, base spawn for the inoculation at the rate of 3%. The spawn is added at the top only, and the filling should be very compact. We have to press the bags, and compact filling has to be there. And these are the conditions, cropping room conditions, that at the spawn run it is 18 to 20 degrees centigrade, but up to 25 we can go. Incubation temperature that is there, 23 to 26 degrees centigrade. Humidity about 60% is sufficient, and the light has to be provided of 50 to 100 lux. And carbon dioxide is not the restriction, there is no restriction. For the fruiting stage, actually, 18 to 20 degrees centigrade temperature is required. If some stains are there, that fruit only at 15 to 16 degrees centigrade, whereas we are having the stains which fruit at 20 to 22 degrees centigrade. Here at this stage, when we are going for the fruiting stage, then that humidity we have to enhance. About 85% humidity is required, and light is also very important. About that day and light, this dark and light cycle has provided during 24 hours. About 10 to 12 hours we have to provide the light, and for 10 to 12 hours we have to provide the darkness. And carbon science must be it should be less than 1000 ppm. So different spawn run will be there, and then browning stage will come, then primordialization will come, fruiting stage will also come. Now the stain, the technology which we were having earlier in India, there actually about 60 to 70 days were taken for this spawn run. First the spawn run, and thereafter browning stage for the next 5-6 days, and then the primordia starts after 10 to 15 days after giving the cold water treatment. But now at directed of mushroom research, we have developed this short duration condition technology also. This is the schedule of the various parameters which has to be maintained during starting cultivation. Incubation 30 to 120 days. It depends upon that the stain now temperature 20 to 30 degrees centigrade, light intensity during spawn run, no requirement, humidity about 65%. For the induction, about 2 to 4 days are required, and temperature during that 10 to 20 degrees centigrade. Some fruit at 20 to 22, other they fruit somewhere at 10 to 15 degrees centigrade. Light we have to provide, of course. Then fruiting again, the 70 about 1 to 2 weeks fruiting will be there. Temperature again the same, 12 to 18 degrees centigrade, and then rest for 1 to 3 weeks. Rest is given. Thereafter again we have to do the cold water treatment, and then it will again induce this induction. Will go this induction stage, and again we'll enter into the fruiting stage. So likewise, 4-5 flushes we can harvest from one that synthetic log. And this is the crop management that this is that spawn 18 to 28 days, and observation during this time we can provide light, but it's sometimes helpful, but not necessarily. Then mycel coat formation will be there, browning will be there, coat hardening will be there, mycel bump formation will be there, fruiting induction will be there. So this is the total cycle which is taken. It actually depends upon stain to stain. A different stain they require the different. But generally we have the two category stains. One they take long time, another they take a short time. During the spawn run, they are incubated in the cropping room where the temperature of 24 to 25 degrees centigrade is maintained. We can also use this wheat straw for the production of this Starkia mushroom. Mycel bump formation stage will be there, and then browning, of course, of this browning will be there, and then hardening will be there. Once hardening is there, then we have to go for the cold water treatment. We tried cold water treatment right from 10 minutes to 24 hours. But what we observed that a cold water treatment for 10 to 20 minutes is sufficient. The result which we obtained by giving a cold treatment for 24 hours is the same what we got after giving cold treatment of 20 minutes only. So a temperature of about 6 to 8 degrees centigrade, cold water, these bags, these logs, they are immersed in the cold water for 15 to 20 minutes, and then they're taken out, and then they're again arranged in the cropping room. The crops start coming. After that, depending upon the stain again, for example, if you are using 388 stain, 388 stain, then the crop will start after that about 45 days. And this is the mature fruit bodies of fruit bodies which are ready to harvest. And the technology for short duration fruiting in stock has been evolved at ICIT Solon, and the formula and the technology is like this: that cultivation was carried out on sawdust of selected trees, and it was supplemented with wheat bran and calcium carbonate, calcium sulfate. It is filled in polypropylene bags, again at the rate of 1.5 kg. They are sliced at 22 pound pressure for 90 minutes, and grain spun at the rate of 3% that is used. Cold water treatment by immersing the despondent synthetic logs in cold water that was given, and for 10 to 15 minutes, and thereafter room temperature of 20 to 22 degrees centigrade. It is important for this short duration cultivation technology that there are high temperature requiring strains, and the relative humidity also very high, and light 10 to 12 hours that is maintained, and after 2 to 3 days of the cold water treatment, small primordial they start developing, which mature into full-grown fruit bodies in the next 3-4 days. This is how we got the stage about this fruit body emerging stage after about 43 days, and then after 46 days you can get the fruit body this side, and after 47 days of spawning you can get the fruit body which are ready to harvest. So this is the technology for which the patent was granted to ICIT Solon. We can also cultivate this mushroom on wheat straw. Here the crop is a little bit early compared to sawdust when we are talking about this earlier technology. And when we go for the comparison in the natural logs, synthetic logs, and short duration cultivation technology, here actually the spawning time, the time for the first harvest about 11 to 12 months. Here the synthetic logs, earlier technology, 80 to 100 days, but by the short duration cultivation by 45 to 47 days. Production here in the wood logs is about 3 to 8 years. In synthetic logs, it is about 8 months. In short duration cultivation, it's about 6 months. Production is about 10 to 15 kg per 100 kg of log. Here, the biological efficiency is about 100% in synthetic logs. And in short duration cultivation technology, the production is more. Then in management, of course, it is difficult, and in both the cases, it is the management is easy. Then coming to the post-harvest management, after the first plus reduce the humidity to 30 to 50. After when we have harvested the fruit body, then we have to reduce the relative humidity for 7 to 10 days. So the blocks again for 2 weeks for 12 hours in cold water for the second and 8 hours for the third flush. So can be stored for 3 days at 20 degree centigrade, and the shelf life can be extended up to 14 days by keeping them at 60 days. This is about the mushroom. Once the mushroom has been harvested, and the mushrooms, they can be dry preserved at moisture of 30 to 15%, and dry the stock at 60 degrees centigrade for 3 hours in cabinet air dryer, followed by air drying. That is very popular as far as this international trade is concerned. So they can be sold as fresh or they can be dried. The dried product, they are also popular in the market. For drying, this cabinet drying and sun drying both are there. For the dehydration start, how the drying is done, dehydration start at 30 degrees centigrade, and it increased, the temperature is increased just by 1 to 2 degrees centigrade per hour until the temperature up to 50 degrees centigrade is reached in the next 12 to 13 hours. Thereafter, finally, this is heated to 60 degrees centigrade for 1 hour to enhance the flavor. So it is maintained at 1 hour. At this temperature and flavor will be enhanced when we are doing this. So this is the process by which this drying of stake is done. And according to this dried, there are 5 types of stake product. They are available in Japan, particularly Hana Donko, which is considered as a top quality, but for which production is limited. The Donko type is there, which is a smallest cap than the Hana Donko, which is widely used in Chinese food preparation and thus is used almost exclusively for the dried quality. Then Kotsubu Donko, very similar to the Donko but with a smaller cap. And then Koshin is there with 2 qualities: Jo Koshin, higher quality, and the Nami Koshin, that's the standard quality, which are used for the sale in supermarkets. Then Coco is there, which is similar to Koshin and it tastes like the donko. For this reason, this variety is also very popular. Flower stock is also important, but its cultivation not very. That here also in Himachal Pradesh also few growers they have started the cultivation of flower stock also. If we talk about how a commercial farm can be established, and when we are taking the cultivation period, that first harvest period about 90 days, and the one crop cycle of 6 months, then what happened that we should have, that 6 months at least, where we can have this continuous production of stock. And for this, the cost are calculated that non-recurring in the machineries, autoclave is required, and one autoclave will be sufficient to feed this all the 6 rooms, and it will cost about 8 lakhs. And the cropping rooms, 6 rooms are there, and one autoclave room is also required. The total cost will be about this 24 lakhs 80,000. And for the recurring costs, sawdust will require wheat bran, calcium carbonate, calcium sulfate, ring spawn, non-rigid cotton, electric charges, and miscellaneous. This will cost about 4 lakhs 74,000. And when we then laborer, 2 laborers are also required, and we have taken at the rate of 10,000 per month. 2 laborers will be there, and it will cost about 2,40,000. And when we calculate the cost of production, then interest and depreciation is there on this building, and then on the machinery, and it is coming about 5,97,000. And the cost of raw material is 4,74,000. Wages and salaries to 2,40,000. Interest and depreciation it is about 5,97,000. So total cost of production is about 13,11,000. And when coming to the cost and benefit ratio, cost of production 13,11,000, return at the rate of 150 rupees per kg. But that's the rate which has been fixed at DMR Solan. And every day we are having production at this directorate, at this institute, and we are selling this stocky mushroom at the rate of 150 rupees per this kg. Whereas button mushroom is I think rupees 80, and then dhingri is this white mushroom at the rate of rupees 70. So different rates for the different mushroom. For the stocky mushroom, the rate is rupees 150. So at this rate, we will harvest about 13,000 kg mushroom, fresh mushroom, and when we sell this mushroom quantity, we will earn about 19.5 lakhs. And when we calculate the profit, I think then the profit is about 6,39,000. And if you calculate per month, it is about 53,250 rupees per month. And coming to the genetic improvement of stocky mushroom. So stocky mushroom at a glance, what is it? It is a fleshy convex cap, lightly tough stalk. Color is light to dark brown cap, creamy white gills, light brown stem, and then average size at harvest is 6 to 8 centimeter diameter cap and 3 to 4 centimeter stalk. Flavor robust and earthy, and best grown on different trees which I talked in the previous slides. And the mating system, that is important because it is a heterothallic species, and as you know that mushroom, they belong either to homothallic or heterothallic, and about 10% mushroom they are the homothallic, maybe primary or secondary, and about 90% in the 90% heterothallic, 25% they are the unifactorial and heterothallic, and the rest 65% they are the bifactorial heterothallic. So it is having the tetrapolar matings. That means it is a bifactorial. It is having a bifactorial type of mating system. It is tetrapolar, and then A and B incompatibility factors which are not linked. These are the two factors. And clamp connections collection is your collections formation is there, and then accompanies conjugate nuclear divisions. Clamp connections begins at the metaphase and it completes at the telophase. And number of basidiopores per basidium is usually 4. So it is, of course, I explained that it is a this your tetrapolar mating type, and that is having this bifactorial type of system is there. So we see this strainal behavior. There are different strains about, we are having a collection of about 50 strains at DMR Solan, and we have studied the strainal behavior of all these strains, and days required for the complete spawn, and days for the first harvest, total yield, biological efficiency, all these things has been calculated, and we have worked on all these strains here. And on the basis of we have characterized the different strains, and these are the fruit body DMR 3 to 7, where the fruit body was particularly DMR 3 to 7. It is very thick one, and it is very popular, and it is very liked by the consumers because it tastes very excellent. The taste is excellent because generally two types of fruit bodies. One is thin flesh, another is thick flesh. but thick plus fruit body. This DMRO 388S, this is the variety, this is the strain which is used for the short duration cultivation technology of Starke. And these are the strain DMRO 38, which has been released from Directorate of Mushroom Research in 2014. This strain is good for the cultivation of the sawdust. And this is the strain again released in 2014. This is a strain that is good for the cultivation of both sawdust as well as wheat straw on wheat straw, and this gives bumper crop. More than 120% biological efficiency can be obtained by this strain. And this is a strain which was released last year only, DMRO 356, and it is a thick plus mushroom. It is a thick plus strain, and the fruit bodies are really very tasty of this strain. And with this, thank you very much. And this was all about the cultivation of the strainer improvement in Starke mushroom. Thank you very much.
Participants, any questions?
Namaskar, sir. Yes, I am asking them. Namaskar, sir.
Namaskar.
I am Satyajit Mahapatra speaking from Jharkhand. Actually, I am a mushroom grower. And first of all, I want to thank and congratulate DMR for the invention of the cultivation technology of Morchella.
Thank you very much.
Sir, there are a few queries of my about the Shiitake mushrooms.
Yes.
First, as told by you in the session, that about the commercial Shiitake unit and about the cost to set up a commercial Shiitake unit, it seems to be cheaper as compared to the button production unit. Then why the entrepreneurs in India are going towards the commercial button production only?
Well, you see that in the global mushroom production, Starke is at number 1.
Yes.
Maybe one is about the awareness. That is one thing. Second was the technology which was earlier available. You know that that was requiring long time. Long duration was required, more than 3 months for the first harvest. Then there is gap of 1 month. Then again the crop will come. So that was the another limitation, the other strain. And the third is availability of the sawdust, because very specific sawdust is required for this, for the production of Starke. If you're using sawdust of other plants, what I listed, other than those plants, then you will not get the Starke production. So these are some of the limits actually. And because people, they are aware, they were knowing only about the button mushroom. So button mushroom, even today in India, most of the population, most of the people, they only familiar with this button mushroom. For them, even Western mushroom is not the edible mushroom. It can be a poisonous mushroom. But most of the population of our country is still only familiar with this button mushroom. So awareness is another. Then the technology problems, that it was requiring long time. Then third is another problem, that it requires installation. For the cultivation of Western mushroom, you require compost preparation that can be done in the open without any infrastructure. Then here actually autoclave is must. We have to autoclave the substrate, and it is a costly equipment. In this presentation also, I told that about 8 lakh is required for the purchase of one autoclave.
Yes, sir. The second question is that how to educate the customers about the consumption way of Shiitake mushroom, as we are from North India, and there are a lot of friends in this session from South India also. Both have different cuisine habits. Then that means my question is that what would be the best way to consume Shiitake mushroom in India?
Well, I think one advantage of Starke mushroom is that it can be dried. Thus, post-harvest management should not be the issue, as in button mushroom, because button mushroom cannot be dried. It has to be consumed as fresh. So we have to increase the awareness, because it is a blend of both medicinal and nutritional value. Starke is the mushroom that has got lanthanum compound that can cure cancer. It has iritidine that can cure this, that can lower down the lovastatin. So we have to make people aware about the medicinal and nutritional value of the Starke. So some awareness campaign, maybe at the government level, of course, DMR and ICR, they are making its best efforts to popularize the mushroom. But I think, again, some serious efforts are required from the private sector. So both, if private sector and government sector, both they join hands and make the publicity, make this start this awareness campaign, certainly we can promote the mushroom consumption, particularly shiitake, because it has got very unique flavor. It has got very unique flavor for aroma. It has got tremendous, that medicinal values, and the taste is wonderful. So all we have to promote, and we have to make the common people aware of all these properties.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir. And third query is that the cold water treatment is used in the fruiting of shiitake mushrooms.
Yes.
So do this treatment have any positive results on any other common in the production of any other common mushrooms? That means cold water treatment.
Generally, it is not given to other mushroom. It is only in the shiitake, the commercial mushroom, as far as this commercial mushroom production is concerned, because it gives a shock to that mushroom and the start fruiting starts. Because the natural production in shiitake was only of like this, that during the spring only, after the cold mushroom they used to emerge, the fruit body used to emerge. So that actually we are using the same, that natural method, that giving a shock and then we are inducing the fruit bodies, and by doing so, just uniform fruit body production will be there. But if you are not giving the cold water treatment, even then you can get the fruit bodies, but the uniformity will not be there. Some fruit bodies are coming today, and few fruit bodies after some times. Likewise, that uniformity in the flush will not be there.
That means it is not used. It could not be used in any other production of the any other common types of mushrooms.
In
that
others,
are produced in
it is not generally used.
Okay, sir. And the last question is that since there are cultivation technology on of shiitake mushroom on wheat straw,
Yes.
is there any strain and there any cultivation technology on paddy straw, as there are scarcity of wheat straw in many parts of the India?
Only we have tested on wheat straw and paddy straw. We have not obtained any yield. So wheat straw that gives good yield. Of course, not as much as you will get on the and the quality also. Quality is poor when we grow shiitake on wheat straw, and the production is also low compared to sawdust. But on paddy straw, you will not get this shiitake mushroom production.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
Yes. Any other question, sir?
Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon.
Sir, myself, Sunit Talukdar from Guwahati, Assam.
Okay.
So I'm just basically I'm just oyster mushroom I'm cultivating oyster mushroom, and just since last year I have just tried. I'm trying in an experimental basis to cultivate shiitake, but that's not in a commercial scale, sir. Just hardly 10 to 15 bags that way. So first, once again, sir, I would like to congratulate you and your entire team for the Morshella invention. So that I mean, the Morshella is still under trial process, or I mean, it's already ready for this commercialization purpose.
Of course, not for the commercialization, but they have got the good success, and I'm very sure that within 1 or 2 years we will be able to transmit this technology to the farmers.
Okay. Sir, I mean, during one of your slide, you said that I mean, for inoculating the sawdust blocks of shiitake, if we have sawdust spawn, then it's very good. If not,
Yes.
then we can go for the grain spawn.
Yes.
So the sawdust spawn also, like it should be made with the same species of trees, which
Yes. It has to be with the same species. It will be better. It will be better if the same species of the tree is used, because then the time for the adoption time is very less immediately, because all the enzyme profile will be there, which is produced by the mushroom for the utilization of sawdust of this one particular species. And when we are inoculating that spawn on the same species, enzymes are available there, so immediately it will start colonization.
Okay, sir. And sir, like. Yeah, so like shiitake can for other mushroom like oyster and also in oyster is also a wood decaying mushroom. Can we use sawdust spawn?
For king oyster, for Pleurotus ostratus, generally for this Pleurotus arrangii, sawdust is used. when we are using this fully automated system, and when fully automation is there for Stake, for oyster mushroom, for Flammulina, there actually we are using the sawdust. But generally the king oyster, that Pleurotus aerangei, we can also cultivate on sawdust also.
Okay. I mean, sir, my question was based on the sawdust spawn. So
Yes,
can we
sawdust spawn we can use. When we are using, you see that when we are using this sawdust as substrate, then it is better to use the sawdust based spawn. But when we are using some other substrate, then it may not be very much helpful. Then grain spawn is better.
Okay, okay, sir. And sir, second, my other question is, sir, like, sir, like you said, the. So can I continue?
Yes, please.
Okay. Sir, like for setup of a plant, you said like we will be needing autoclave for sterilization purpose.
Yes,
So
yes.
instead of autoclave, sir, can we like go for this bulk sterilization, which is done in case of button?
No, pasteurization actually we are trying to develop that system, that we should develop the technology where we can use the pasteurized substrate. But we are not getting good success. Only the rate of success is very high when you are using autoclave substrate. And when we are using this pasteurized substrate, we are not getting good success. Just at the laboratory scale, we get some fruit bodies, but not that of commercial use.
Okay. Okay. And sir, my last two queries, sir, you said like, I mean, shiitake maximum, it can fruit at a fruiting temperature, it can be like around 24, 25. And
Fruiting for fruiting 22 degrees centigrade is the maximum, not more than that.
okay. So mycelium run is 25, fruiting is
I
22.
still run up to 25, 26 degrees centigrade.
Okay. So like my query is based on actually about a strain. I mean it's available abroad. Uh, like I have like it says that I mean it's actually in possession of a US based mycologist. So in his library I have seen like he particular has three strains. So
Okay.
one he says like it can fruit at 28 degree. The other is 26 plus, and the third one is 24 plus. So my query is like, can those type of strains can be bought and can it be standardized as per? I mean, can that be done?
Yes, it can be done. You know that introduction is not the problem. We must introduce different strains, because that provide a genetic pool, and we can really improve the existing strains also. We here also at DMR Solon we developed a strain temperature resistant that fruits at 30 degrees centigrade. But the yield, because just we get one or two fruit bodies in a log, not many fruit bodies we are getting. So that is why we are not actually working on that strain now. But that strains are certainly there which can fruit at high temperature, but we don't have at present at our gene bank.
Okay, so like if we plan to bring, or suppose if I plan to import, what's the procedure? Like someone said that I need to take permission from DMI and some other institute. So,
So from us there is no permission is required, because some IPR issues are there nowadays, intellectual property right issues are there. Private persons, they can, I think, brought the stains, but only that some checking will be there, some quarantine period is there, but for government institutions certainly a procedure is there, a channel is there. Only through that channel we can import the cultures.
okay, okay. And so my last thing, sir, this is the, sir, can you see? So this is my latest, actually, sir, this is the, sir, is my screen available? So can it be
No,
seen?
your screen is not available. Just let me. Sorry. Yes, please. Now it's visible.
Okay, so this is the created strain of DMR.
Okay.
Sir, I inoculated on 1st of January. So technically it's almost 90 months. Sorry, yes, not 90, sorry, 3 months, 90 days. So like the one run is over, it's totally white, and the browning has already started in the top part. I'm not yet opened the bag. But the problem is, sir, like the bump formation, the popcorn, little bit of here and there, the popcorn formation is developed, but not entirely in the full bag.
You give a cold water treatment to this. You will get the fruit bodies, no problem.
Okay. So I'm not opened it just because.
You open it, then browning will be very little fast. You just open it now.
Okay, sir. Okay. Thank you, sir.
It depends upon this, that how much, what was the supplementation rate?
Sir, I used around 10 to 12% of rice polish.
If the supplementation rate would be high, browning should have been earlier.
Okay.
And the supplementation rate, if it is low, but they will remain productive for a long time. That is, that the beauty. If the supplementation rate is high, browning will be fast, crop will be early. But if the supplementation rate is, low, then browning will be late and cropping period will be more.
Okay, sir. Okay. Thank you, sir.
Okay, thank you very much.
Sir, good evening. I'm RK Singh from Imphal, sir, Manipur.
Okay.
Sir, I would like to take some training, hands-on training on the shiitake cultivation and spawn production. Is that training available at DMR, sir? And when can it be, if it is so, when it is done, sir?
Actually, we were providing this individual training also on spawn production and specialty mushroom production, including shiitake. But due to this corona, for the time being, all the trainings has been put on hold and only online mode is switched on. So presently,
Okay.
but as soon as I think the situation will be normal, we will open this and you can join at DMR Solan. You can get that training. It will be. We will provide that training.
Okay, so I need to follow the website, sir?
Here, in our center, Acryp Center, that is at Imphal. Dr. Sushil Kumar is working there, and you can also take guidance.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Sir, thank you so much, sir. Thank you, sir.
Good evening, sir.
Yes, please. Good evening.
Sir, myself, Dr. Pooja Dubey Pandey from Indore, Beti Mushroom, sir. Thanks a lot, sir. It was a very informative session. Sir, my question was that in case of shiitake and button, some of the temperature conditions are similar. What you have shown currently. So, is there any possibility, like, as shiitake is not releasing that much of spores, just like oyster mushrooms? So, can we grow oyster and button in the same room and same conditions?
Well, for shiitake, madam, I think Pilotus aranjai, that is requiring low temperature, but other strains of Pilotus, they are requiring high temperature. And sporulation, certainly that will create a problem because they will germinate on the substrate also. But as far as the spore production is concerned, Directorate Mushroom Research has developed a strain that is sporeless and giving about 70% biological efficiency. And I think next year we are going to release that strain also. But it is better to keep both this shiitake and Pilotus, that in different rooms.
Sir, I'm asking about button and shiitake. Can we grow them together?
Button and shiitake, they can be, what the temperature, for example, if the temperature requirement is about 20 to 22 degrees centigrade. Then for button, this is the air temperature I'm talking about. In button, I think if the temperature is going beyond 18 degrees centigrade, then there will be problem with the primordial formation. So again, the temperature requirements are not very precisely the same. They are having different temperature requirements. Different temperatures.
But sir, in case of button, 25-degree temperature is maintained for incubation period, and for fruiting, if we maintain 18 degree, then I think shiitake and button, both temperature can be compatible for both of them. I think so. Is it right?
For spawn run, I think both can be done in one room, no problem.
Yes.
But for production period, because for the production, shiitake number one is that is requiring that light. About 1,000 to 1,200, about 1,000 lux light is required for 10 to 12 hours daily. And aeration, of course, the same. That carbon dioxide should not exceed 1,000 ppm. Same is for the button mushroom also. For spawn run, I think it can be done in one room. But for production, this fruiting, different.
Okay, sir. Thank you. Sir, one more question is there. As you had shown the CN ratio, for shiitake cultivation, and you told that on the slide you had mentioned that if the concentration of nitrogen is exceeded, then it will lead to good vegetative growth, but it will delay fruiting. Sir, I wanted to know the reason. What could be the reason behind that?
Actually, you know that nitrogen concentration when it is low, when it is high, and because it is this Stachya mushroom is basically a lignin-loving fungi, it will primarily use that lignin content. Okay, and certainly if that nitrogen content if it is high, then it will, because the enzyme profile will not the same. Some other enzyme has to be secreted, and it will ultimately delay the that colonization, delay the fruiting of the Stachya crop.
Oh, okay, thank you, sir.
Excuse me, sir. Sir, can I ask?
Yes, please.
Sir, I mean, just now you said because of this lignin species, lignin loving species, that's why we need to keep the nitrogen, I mean, CN ratio, the nitrogen in 1%. So does that apply only in case of shiitake or all lignin loving species?
It applies on all basically, but you know that some, for example, Lotus, they are utilizing this lignin contents as well as cellulose, hemicellulose, all contents equally, because the enzyme profile is very versatile type of enzymes are there. But Stachya, even this Lotus aerangei and some other wood-loving fungi, auricularia also, that can be grown on both this, and then Ganoderma. Again, it is not possible to, Ganoderma, it loves this lignin rich substrates, but this, when the cellulose, hemicellulose is more, it will not, perish those substrates. Then Bolverella, just the reverse. If lignin contents are more, it will not grow. Just it requires cellulose, hemicellulose. So because the enzyme profile is different in different species, in different organisms, so depending upon that, the genetic makeup of the organism, that substrate preference is there.
Okay, sir. And so my another question, so actually in our backyard, so we have some logs. I mean, we have cut down some trees, mainly so logs from mango tree, guava tree, and so one like tree like star fruit tree. The fruit name is star fruit. I mean, it's quite popular in our area. So I'm basically from Northeast India. So, so during rainy seasons and most of the time I see like the common type of mushroom fruiting from those logs are the auriculia, the
Yes.
Udier, so Udier and the Ganoderma. So, sir, since both of these are lignin species and like wood decaying species, so can I like expect that using those specific tree sawdust or logs, can I grow shiitake? I've never seen shiitake growing, but just I have noticed these two, Ganoderma and auriculia.
Yes, all these hardwood, broadleaf trees, number one, it should be broadleaf. It should not have that resin, etc. Number one. Secondly, that it should be hardwood tree. You will get this. And Ganoderma, where Ganoderma is growing, I think Stachya will also grow. But the temperature requirements are different, because Ganoderma grow at high temperature. Maybe that, and auricularia also require high temperature, particularly when you are talking about this your auricularia polytricha, because it is a tropical species and they require high temperature, and that could be one reason, because the temperature substrate is not the problem, that is also suitable for Stachya production, but the temperature is the problem, because that the temperature profile which is that prevailing there, that is high, and both these species, Ganoderma require much higher temperature, 30 to 35 degrees centigrade, auricularia require temperature about 25 to 30 degrees centigrade, and whereas this Stachya mushroom require low temperature for fruiting. Maybe most of the strains they require temperature 15 to 16 degrees centigrade. So that could be the that the temperature could be a reason that why you are not getting Stachya. Otherwise, substrate is suitable for Stachya also.
Okay. Okay. Thank you, sir.
Sir, my question.
Yes, please.
Sir, last one. Sir, my question is about the taste of mushroom. As the taste of mushroom is termed as umami flavor, but different mushroom taste differently.
Yes.
So, does there is any specific terminology for the taste of the different mushrooms, or on overall they are termed as the umami flavor?
Not any specific flavor, but certainly the compound which are giving flavor to different mushrooms are different. For example, in Stackia mushroom, what I call that it is guanosine monophosphate for the flavor and that lanthionine for the aroma. So different, that things are there which are giving this aroma and flavor in different mushrooms.
But there is not any different terminology for.
No specific term, only general term is there.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
So with this, I think no more questions are there. I thanks the organizer for giving me the opportunity, and that it is my pleasure to interact with most of you. I don't know most of you, probably not even a single person is there who is known to me, but somehow through this virtual conference, I think we are meeting all through this virtual mode, and I would like to use this platform here also that DMR is organizing. Directorate of Mushroom Research with this Mushroom Society of India is organizing one mushroom symposium on 15th April to 17th April, and the date for submission of abstract will be, I think, 25th March, and all the details of that will be, I think, it will be available on our website. Our website is NRC DMR. Our website, the address of our website is dmrsolan.icr.gov.in. You can all please note this, address, and you are requested to kindly submit the abstracts and participate in this conference. So it will be a nice, I think, it will be a nice one platform.
Majid Sahab, Dr. Majid, are you there?
Yes, sir. Yes.
Okay, so
is also there. Thank you very much, Dr. MP Thakur Saab, giving me the opportunity, and you kindly also make this announcement that DMR is going to organize this national symposium, and maybe in the month of November, December, we are going to organize this international conference.
Excuse me, sir. Sir, can I ask one last query?
This is seminar being last query. Yes, you are welcome.
Okay. Sir, like for shiitake and all, since it's, cultivated using either sawdust or log. When you're using sawdust substrate, in compared to the other mushroom, where we use straw, we see that after third two flushes or three flushes, the final substrate tends to become very messy. And in compared to that, the sawdust like sort of a brick, it is like not that messy. So after like three flushes or the two flushes, can we, is there any chance that we use the spent substrate as a sawdust, as a spawn?
No. Spawn, if you want to use it, has to be used only as a fresh, because a lot of contaminants, particularly the green mold fungi, they colonize that. Because we are using heavy loads of the supplementation. We are using about 20% this wheat bran or rice bran as a supplement. And with the passage of time, the substrate is also colonized by green mold fungi, particularly trichoderma. So we are not in a position to use that, spent substrate of this Stackia mushroom for as a fresh source of spawn because of this contamination problem.
Okay, sir. Okay, thank you, sir.
So, okay, sir. Dr. Thakur Saab, thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
Sharma, Director, ICR, Directorate of Mushroom Research, Solan, Himachal Pradesh, who has spared his valuable time to deliver his talk before you all, and he is having a lot of experience working on shiitake, how to cultivate, how to process, and how to improve the strain in this particular shiitake mushroom, which is the number one mushroom. All of you, I would like to thank him. Thank you, Dr. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, sir. Thank you very much.
Thank you, everyone.